Welcome to my channel. In this short video I decided to show you all my snow winter pictures which I did during last 3 months and in such way to say goodbye to the winter season. I started another one winter page and I hope that I will publish video in couple of days, but the rest of the pictures with snow will be in this video. I started this season winter colorings from Halupkovanki by Vladislava Schaffer-Hans, and I did this beautiful winter landscape. I really was attracted to it because of this wooden cottage. You know that my favorite pencils for this book, it's Faber-Castell Polychromos, but I still not very confident in doing snow, especially such a big snow areas with polychromos. So apart from the snow, everything is polychromos, and on the snowman, snow family, and snow I used Prismacolors. For me it's much easier to use various shades of blue and lavender colors from Prismacolor set when I need to do snow, comparing to many other brands. But as I said, most of all I enjoyed doing wooden surfaces here on the birdhouse and on the wooden cottage. So I really love how my winter season started. Of course, the most popular winter books for me are by Teresa Goodrich. Previously, I happily colored in a Winter Wonderland, but this year I added to my collection 2 new books, Enchanted Christmas and Christmas Charm. Among these 3 books, my favorite is Christmas Charm. And as usual, with many regrets, I can say that I didn't color in this book as much pictures as I planned, as I wanted, because in Christmas Charm I wanted to color everything from first until the last page. Enchanted Christmas is more fantasy style, maybe a little bit more childish, but still it has some unusual winter pictures, and I decided to do this small page with snowman, which was quite quick and easy way to start doing something in this book. You know that in Creative Heaven series I always use my Prismacolors, so I used them here. And what I also did here, it's one of my favorite finished pictures for this winter season. Here we have packaging of the Christmas gifts, and I really tried that this Christmas tree would be the focal point, but the rest of the elements here also was quite fun to color. And I did one unusual coloring because I used Neocolor crayons and gouache here in addition to the pencils, and I used polychromos pencils here, so unusual materials, but I really love how I did this background. When I looked at this page I immediately imagined it in pastel colors, so I am glad that I managed to do it exactly like I wanted, and that we have not traditional red, green and gold, but softer pastel colors. Now let's move to Christmas Charm. As I said, for me it's the best winter book by Teresa Goodrich. Here, what I did here. I did my favorite type of pictures. I really appreciate pictures by Teresa when we have all those cozy buildings, cozy shops, interesting shopping streets, and that's why I selected this one. I hope that I managed to show this snowy atmosphere with a lot of snow and falling snow. I slightly transformed sky here because I wanted to show that we have an evening scene, and in contrast to the dark evening sky I did a light inside of all the windows to create this festive atmosphere, a lot of highlights on the snow near the windows and around the Christmas tree, so I also quite in love with this finished page. Another one was this Christmas dinner party probably. Here more interesting for me was to color all this food. And finally in January I decided that I also can color in this book because I selected page which can be not Christmas but a winter one. I think that first of all I was attracted to this lantern with candle. It was really challenging but interesting to do the glass reflections, and I do love this botanical composition in the middle with the pine cones, with the dried berries and fruits with the cinnamon. As usual, I struggled a lot with the cardinal bird, but I try to improve, and I have many other pictures with cardinals in my stash, so I hope that one day I will be good at doing them because I absolutely love them. I never saw them in real life, of course, because they don't live here, but I saw pictures and they are so good, so festive, and a real sign of the Christmas atmosphere. So that's why I always attracted to the pictures where I can find cardinal birds. Here again I mostly used Prismacolors apart from the background where I used polychromases. When I realized that I totally neglected the winter wonderland, I decided that February is still a winter, and it's good that in winter wonderland we have some winter, not on Christmas pictures but simply winter landscapes. I can't say that it was easy for me to color them. Somehow I had some coloring block for this book. So two pictures which I did in February, I love them, but I know that they have many problem areas, areas where I struggled, areas where maybe I didn't make the right choice. But anyway, I am glad that I did another two winter pictures, and they were all my steps in practicing how to better color snow. Snow is challenging, and I hope that with each picture I improve my coloring skills. So I did in February this feeding birds and animals pictures. I'm glad that I selected this bright red for the feeding house, and another one which I love a little bit more, but which started almost as a disaster. It's this stroll in the forest. I finished it a couple of days ago, but I started the sky in the beginning of the month. Somehow I was disappointed. I wasn't sure that I will manage to finish it with some inspiration, but yesterday I did it, and I think that the result is quite nice. I'm especially happy with all the shadows on the snow which I did from the trees, from the people which we have here. And sometimes when I see picture with huge area of the snow, I think that it would be boring to color it. So I try to experiment with different shades of blue, different shades of colors for the sky. So that's why I'm happy that I finally finished this one, and that I managed to test some of the ideas for the colors, for the color palettes, and at least I hope that snow doesn't look flat, that it has shadow highlighted areas, and traditionally I added a little bit of white paint sprinkled on top of it to imitate falling snow. I think that it creates nice winter atmosphere, so it's one of my favorite tricks. Well, I wanted to do a lot of escape to Christmas past before this winter season, but somehow I did color in this book, but not snow pictures, something not very related to the winter theme. The only picture which can be called a snow one was this very quick and simple Scrooge portrait, and mostly I can call it winter because of the watercolors which I used on the background, and for this ice spikes which create frame around the figure of the Scrooge. And also I decided to improve this winter atmosphere by sprinkling pale blue and white paint on top of the Derwent graffiti in the background. Well, it also looks a little bit like snow. All other pictures which I did here in December, they were totally not with snow, but I really enjoyed this book, so I realized that I can color it not only in December, in January, but there are pictures which can be colored throughout the whole year. Of course, one of my favorite themes in winter colorings, it's always Mice by Tatiana Bagema. I have her Santa Village and her Christmas books, so of course I had huge coloring plans, but I managed to do just 2 pictures. Still, I'm glad that I did them. The first one is this waiting for Santa or waiting for Christmas. I did with a lot of challenging because I wasn't sure which media to use. I started with alcohol-based markers, then I switched to color pencils, and together they helped me to create this page. The most challenging, of course, was to do the highlights and reflections from the candle on the glass of the window and on the clothes of the mice, on the nearest objects, and of course on the Christmas balls. But I love it. Maybe some of the areas I could color slightly more carefully, like this wall or the pine tree, but I think that at least I managed to show this atmosphere of the evening when everyone is gathered together. Some are already started to have their feast, some are still waiting for Santa arrival. So it was a good page. Another challenging one was this winter skating. You know how much I love figure skating, so I always try to color pictures where we have skaters, skates. Here I combined my pastel tint pencils and artisan. Some of them worked really well and helped me to create nice shading on the snow. Some didn't want to work on the paper like artisan on the sky. My favorite part here was to do all those tiny shops with yummy things. And challenging part was how to color ice and snow. I can't say that I'm totally happy, but it helped me to learn something. I tried to play on this color difference in more bluish green on the ice and more lilac lavender blue on the snow, so there is a difference on the ice and on the snow. And of course, when you do winter pictures, you need a lot of white paint because black lines is the worst enemy of the snow pictures. So just 2 pictures from Tatiana Bagema books. And next we are moving to Clara Markova. Again, I had much bigger plans for Clara Markova book, but at least I managed to do one. It was very detailed, probably that's why I stopped on one page. I did also tiny portrait of the gingerbread man, and I did this picture with many baked gingerbread houses with lollipops and other yummy things. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's too bright, or maybe it's okay for such style of the pictures. Again, my favorite way to color in this book is to use polychromos pencils, but for some of the areas where I needed very delicate pastel tender colors, I also added Prismacolors. I wanted to do another one, but it will have to wait until the next season. I don't feel that I want to color winter pictures in this book now. I am ready to switch to something with flowers and berries already. It's the beginning of the season. I had such a huge plans. I was sure that I will do much more in Teresa Cottage books, but then I was distracted by the new book arrivals. Sometimes I wanted to switch from winter pictures to something really bright, because when you don't have winter atmosphere outside your house, it's sometimes difficult to color all just snow pictures with a lot of blue. Sometimes you want to have more bright colors in your life. Another book where I practiced how to color eyes was by Fantasy Collection by Jade Summer. Here I did this page with a warrior bird which was freed from the iced cave, from the ice prison probably. And I can say that again I am 100% happy how I did those ice crystals. Maybe here I didn't use enough of the white paint, so not all the sides of the crystals are shiny and bright, especially here on the ceiling. But again, I sprinkled a little white paint on top of it, so it helped me to maintain this atmosphere of the winter. And here I wanted to play on the contrast between warm colors on the bird, on the tiny elves, and on the ice which surrounds them. So that was my initial idea. One of the new books which distracted me from Teresa Goodrich winter pictures was this Frozen Fantasies by Fabienne Attanasio. First I was really concerned how to color in this book, but then I realized that actually this book is quite easy to color. I did 2 winter pictures. This one where again I tried to play on this contrast between warm colors on the background, on the reindeer and snow covered this, which is covering those tiny houses. And the second one, which I also consider as a winter page, it's this one. Here probably not so many winter areas, but at least we have this snow, and again I think that even the colors of the dragon can be considered as a wintry one. I really try to use a lot of cold colors, cold shades of green, cold shades of blue when I do winter pictures. Again, it's a pity that I didn't use this book more frequently, but this one I plan to continue coloring. Many of the books which will be included in this video I will put on the shelf until the next winter season, but definitely not this one. Another new book which I just got in the end of December, so of course I wanted to color it. It was Christmas Surprise by Alena Lazareva, and most of all I wanted to do these pictures inspired by the Russian flag miniatures, so I did this picture which I called a date. I really tried to maintain at least a little bit the style of traditional Russian miniatures when they have a very dark background, simplified shapes on the trees, and really bright primary colors. I'm glad that I managed again to do this contrast between various shades of blue which I used on the trees, on the snow, on the sky, and bright colors on the clothes. It was a little bit challenging because to color with gouache everything on the background was time consuming, and I wasn't sure that these trees in the end will look nice. I'm not used to such simplified style, you know that I tend to color in more realistic way, but in the end I think that everything worked really well, so I hope that maybe the last winter page for this season will be also from this book. Next one is definitely a winter picture because it's with Nutcrackers, with a lot of snow and a lot of cold colors. Again, here I used a lot of cold shades of green, cold shades of gray, and I think that together with those bright colors on the Nutcrackers, it created quite interesting contrast, quite interesting atmosphere. I am glad that I decided to use such color palette, not adding a lot of bright colors on the building, so all the attention goes to the nutcrackers and to the wreath which decorate the door, and I consider it as one of my best finished winter pictures this season. It was a long coloring, but I really enjoyed each moment. As usual in this book I used Prismacolor pencils, and I think that I spent all my cool grays for just one page, so I definitely need to restock my stash before I will be able to color something like this again. But I am glad that I decided to do it and I managed to finish this spread. And finally, surprisingly, I have a winter page in Botanical. That was definitely very unexpected. I remember that I decided to do this page in just one day. I realized what kind of the background I want to do here. I struggled a little bit because in the beginning I wanted more grayish color of the background, and when I started somehow to add more dark blue, it almost ruined my page, so I had to apply another and another layer here. But then again I added white snowflakes. I sprinkled white and blue paint on top to create atmosphere of the falling snow. When I started to color this wreath, where I decided to do unusual leaves colors, I realized that this page will be a success, that it won't be ruined, and that I do love what I got. Again, you can see that I used cold colors of all those delicate yellow, pink, red, violet, blue, so everything looks frozen, and red color, it creates beautiful contrast to the blue and violet. So it was unexpected, and you know that usually I struggle with Maria Trolle pictures, but this one it's really not as bad. The only ruined area is her hand. I always have problem with coloring hand, but obviously Maria Trolle also has problem with drawing them. They are absolutely ugly, and that's why I tried to mask it a little bit with a snowflake, but at least I love flowers here. So that were my winter snow results of the winter season. They are not huge, but they are not bad. I definitely think that I improved my skills in coloring snow, both with Prismacolor pencils and with watercolors. I think that I'm totally ready to move to the flowers, to the spring pictures. You know that I love to color everything connected to the gardening theme, but maybe from time to time I will return to Christmas pictures. You know that I can color and I can do Christmas ornaments throughout the year, so maybe after a couple of months of flowers and winter and spring pictures I will be ready to do again something with snow. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you already have beginning of the spring weather in your area, or at least you have some pleasant weather. Thank you, and until my next videos.